These are two beautiful Charles Loma pieces made with sterling silver. They were believed to be obtained in the 70s through the Heard Museum. The guest had something to say about the amount that it was purchased for.
It was under $200 per piece.
The pieces were made by Charles Loma, a Hopi artist and modern silversmith. He was known for making jewelry and was involved in pottery and ceramics. The pieces are simple handbands made by him. They have a good texture and feel that makes them lovable. The signature on them makes it hard to question their originality. They are inlaid with ironwood, coral, and turquoise. These features have added to their value, and in today's market, it'll be exciting to discover the price of each item. Which do you think each is worth? This is worth
probably in the retail marketplace, about $25,000.
While this one is worth more. It can be valued at around
$28,000.
Wow.
Great pieces always have great history, and that's what we have here for this great game jersey. What you see was worn in 1942 by one of America's greats, Ted Williams. Ted was a baseball player for the Boston Red Sox from the year 1938 to 1960. He was active in the game for 19 years and retired in 1960. The guest takes us down memory lane on how the jersey was obtained from Ted Williams.
He knew that she loved Ted Williams, so he got her the jersey and as a gift, thanking her for taking care of his child.
This exact jersey was from 1942. The label on the collar shows the necessary details about it. He wore the number 9, which is boldly inscribed at the back of the jersey. The jersey remained in its original state, but its length had been altered. It was expected to be longer. Well, the alteration doesn't have much impact. It still remains a 1942 Ted Williams jersey. At auction, it's worth about
minimum $200,000 to $250,000.
That's great. $250,000. All right.
You must have thought the image here is a photograph, but it isn't. Realistic paintings are beautiful, and this is one of the many made by Adelaide Cole, an American painter of portraits and still lifes. She was a society painter in her days. Everybody loved to be painted by her. Here are some of her unique works. This piece here belongs to her guest mom, whose image is fitted in the frame. The painting was beautifully made with oil paint, and it's a great sight to behold. The painting projects the basics of the Boston school style, with a touch of the American Impressionist approach. Cole applied a subtle palette to the paint, unlike the other artists of her time. This is surely a great piece. It's detailed with great texture. The clothing also looks real. The flesh was vividly painted. It could be easily mixed up for a 3D image. This piece grows one's interest the more when you look at the well-carved frame it is fitted in. The frame is signed Thulin 1932. Thulin was a great frame maker in the early 19th century in Boston. The look of the frame is astonishing. This is an extraordinary piece that matches the quality of contemporary painting. As a family property, it's probably best to have it insured. It can be insured for...
I'd insure it for $32,000.
No, sir.
Yes, sir.
Jason Crow.
This is a 270-year-old pear-cased gold wristwatch. William Webster of London made this stunning piece of art. He is well known for making watches and clocks. The guest inherited the watch from his late cousin. The watch has a lovely white enamel dial signed Webster of London. It is a pear-case watch and has both an outer and an inner case. This watch is said to have a set of London hallmarks, and that was in 1751. The top part of the charun is made of gilt, and the rest is made of gold. A case made of shark skin has helped keep the watch as mint as possible. The collectors of these watches want it to be pristine. Guess how much this watch is worth?
If you went to a good London retailer who specialised in that sort of thing, with the gold chatelaine, well, I think you've got to think about £8,000.
Eight? Yeah.
This excellent piece of art is called A View of Savelli. It is one of the most magnificent and interesting works done by William Henry Pike in 1874. William was born in Plymouth, England, and is popularly known for his landscape, figure, and genre paintings in oil and watercolor. The guest's father got the painting as payment from a satisfied client before the Second World War. It's a really good Victorian composition painting that was transferred to the guest after his father's death. The painting is believed to have been made for a patron rather than a commercial painting. It shows several fascinating scenes, like some children playing. High-pitched houses and some boats can also be seen in the painting. It needs restoration, recanvassing, cleansing, and removal of earlier attempts at restoration. If this painting were to appear at auction, you'll be shocked at how much the painting is worth.
As it stands, value-wise, it's worth between around £5,000 and, say, £8,000 today if it were to appear at auction.
Yes. This beautiful piece originally belonged to the grand uncle of the guest, Pat Collins. He was a catcher, and he used it when he played for the New York Yankees.
We would go visit him, and he would always give us things, balls and bats and stuff, and then we'd promptly go home. And
Pat Collins had a roommate many times on the road, and they were really good friends. This friend was the famous baseball player Babe Ruth. Pat Collins started his career with the St. Louis Browns in 1919. In 1925, he was sold to the New York Yankees, where he played in 3 World Series in 1926, 1927, and 1928. He was known as the Forgotten Catcher and shared the role of catcher with 2 other players. One can say that Pat Collins was a good ball player on a great team. And it's important to know that whenever a group comes from a ball player's estate, it makes the items much more expensive. This makes his personal items become more desirable. This professional model glove has his name inscribed into the leather. From the labels, we can see that it is a higher quality glove. It's very rare and hard to find a player's mitt in that era, especially from a World Series. This is why the value at an auction is mind-blowing.
Expect to sell for between $2,000 and $3,000.
World Series programs are quite difficult to find, especially from this period. It's even more rare to find one that actually belonged to a ball player.
We have the 1926, 27, and 28. Any of those in this condition are going to auction for between $750 and $1,500 each.
The guest also came along with a pair of ticket stubs, and you'll be surprised at how much they are worth at auction. This photo, which is believed to have been taken before or after a game, at auction, will sell for about $200 to $400. If you put all these items together, you'll be amazed at how much they are worth at auction.
With the other items, I would put a value on this group at auction for between $8,000 to $12,000.
This man bought a collection of medals owned by his father, who passed away 13 years ago.
He was very modest, but by golly, he was a man of action.
This set of medals includes an Albert Gallantry Medal, a prestigious award.
A gallantry award, which we would know today, because it changed in 1971 for Albert medals, to the George Cross.
Those who were able to receive the Albert Medal were given a chance to exchange it for a George Cross, but his father chose not to. The collection also includes a Distinguished Service Cross, another gallantry award. Aside from these, he also received an Antarctic Exploration Medal.
Not just an Antarctic, but he has the Queen's Commendation for Brave Conduct on that as well.
A medal that says he was also part of the liberation of Malta, an Arctic Star, which tells his father was also on the Russian convoys.
He went through the war as a lieutenant, engineer lieutenant on the destroyers.
The owner even brought in his own medal, which he received since they were the only father and son during their exploration of the Antarctic. The set of medals here is identified as the wearing sets because the real ones are too expensive to wear.
Well, that's quite wise, because I think if we had the big ones here today, I'd tell you that they were worth £40,000.
Value.
That one's worth $10,000.
OK, that's shaken me.
The guest showcased a large censer piece purchased by her mother from the daughter of a ship captain. The piece had many sections and removable handles. The design featured various symbols, including waterfowl, grasses, and mythological creatures. The lower lappet border incorporated stylized cloud designs. The intricate design featured a blend of Asian and Western influence. Moreover, the piece symbolizes good luck and longevity.
All these motifs are emblematic, one way or another, of good luck, positive symbolism.
Considering its historical significance and unique design, the value for this piece ranges between $10,000 to $15,000.
Okay. That sounds good to me.
This guest appears to be in possession of a rather classic chair. Not surprising, considering its linked origin with Nicholson.
He was a steamboat captain. I think he ran a line of steamboats that traveled from the Great Lakes all the way down to New Orleans.
A friend of his great-great-grandfather.
And they were friends because we did business with his son-in-law's correctional institute up outside of Detroit, where they made furniture in the shop.
A throne-like reward for their shared business and friendship.
Nicholson had his son-in-law have the prisoners make this chair for my great-great-grandfather, and that's what happened.
A printing stone lay beside it, another piece of timeless company memorabilia.
This is a lithograph stone of one of our downtown buildings. As we grew, the buildings got bigger and bigger.
The stunned appraiser shared his thoughts on the antique classic.
Amazing document. I mean, it's just unbelievable advertising in the late 19th century, which stylistically, this dates to the late Victorian period.
What could the worth of the beautiful 19th century furniture be?
With this stone, I think the two together, I would put an auction estimate range of $10,000 to $20,000.
What a phenomenal classic the guest brought on stage, deserving of more in a heated auction. Initially, what might look like an ordinary pear box is actually a Regency tea caddy given to the guest by a dear friend and mentor in Houston, Texas. It was crafted in England during the early 19th century, around 1800 to 1810. Made from pearwood, this tea caddy served a practical purpose. It was safeguarding valuable tea from unauthorized access with its lockable front. Despite its imperfections, such as a replaced finial and signs of age-related wear like splits in the wood, the tea caddy boasts a rich color reminiscent of a golden pear. Notably, it bears the distinctive feature of an original plug at the bottom, indicating its authenticity.
What they all have, all the real ones, and they're making fake ones today, they all have this funny little plug in the bottom. That is something that all the old ones have that the new ones do not.
While the guest initially estimated its worth at $80 or $100, the appraiser astounded them with an auction estimate of $3,000, leaving them pleasantly shocked by the unexpected valuation.
Wow. I'm in shock.
I knew you'd like that one.
Love it.
The guest recalled an intriguing story of buying a magic lantern. The item was purchased 20 years ago from a furniture store. The lantern itself is unique with distinctive features. Adorned with nickel plating, the piece boasts a unique feature: a rotating wheel of colorful lithograph slides. The appraiser emphasized the originality of its electric components. The beautiful piece signifies American technical history.
It's a real collector's piece and a really beautiful, beautiful piece of American technical history.
How much would the item be valued?
I think conservatively, in an auction of early technology and of cameras, you'd easily get $1,000 to $1,500.
This masterpiece oil painting was created by Anthony Michael Otorino. The guest inherited it from her aunt.
Hung over her fireplace for many years, and when she passed away, I got it.
The guest doubted that it was painted by André Guisson and initially thought the painting had a low value.
It's actually by an artist named Anthony Michael Otorino, and he is often misattributed.
Anthony used a unique signature device in his oil canvas painting. He wrote M with a line through it to make one M and two A's representing three letters of his name. Additionally, he added a small U and a Torino in the end to complete the last word of his name, Otorino. He painted this shore painting in the late 90s in New York. Anthony Michael Otorino passed away in December 2015 at the age of 78. Guess the painting's value.
Not a clue. I mean, if it was the other artist, I had like a $12,000, but since it wasn't.
Well, its value in New York Gallery would have been $18,500.
Wow. Wow. That's fantastic.
In a world filled with ordinary yard sales, this lady found something seriously precious.
Was the yard sale in California or your neighborhood or elsewhere?
California, yeah.
And what did you pay?
$40.
The owner bought it for only $40. It's a female form of Chinese Buddha with lots of arms and meaningful symbols.
With hands in mudra to the center, in blessing. Did you like the image as a decorative work of art? Does it?
Significantly, it's a powerful religious symbol, guiding worshippers through devotion and meditation. The owner bought it for its antique charm. She is unaware of the art and religious significance of this Buddha.
Thought it looked really old, so it might be something. It's cool, but I wouldn't put it in my house.
This Buddha was crafted around 1650. Only upper-middle-class Chinese families can afford these types of sculptures.
Okay. Now, if I was to put a numerical ranking, it's a 6 or a 7 out of 10.
Beautifully crafted from bottom to top, the Indian lotus on the drape captivates with its eye-catching coloring and shape. In auction settings, its value ranges between $15,000 and $20,000, while in retail, it can be up to $30,000.
Wow. Okay. Thank you so much.
Well bought.
Yeah, apparently.
The owner stumbled upon these white glass lamps at a thrift store over 15 years ago and paid $9 each. Despite having no interest in collecting, someone pointed out that the lamps might be legitimately old and valuable. The lamps were actually designed by Finnish artist Lisa Johansson Pape, known for her expertise in decorative arts, particularly lighting.
She was trained at one of the art schools in Helsinki. She actually made lamps, glass lamps, during World War II.
The lamps likely date back to 1954 to 1969 and were produced in collaboration with the Finnish company Idela. The design, featuring a stylized, streamlined mushroom shape, was a signature piece in the 1980s.
I think already even in the 80s they were being copied or they were inspiring other designs.
The larger size of the lamps makes them especially valuable.
Sell for between anywhere from $2,000 to $3,000.
Wow. Great $20 investment.
Fantastic. Fantastic.
This guest brought a drawing of Peter Rabbit by Beatrix Potter. During a visit by the guest mother, she was lucky to visit Beatrix Potter's house.
The guest house near Sorry, which is where Beatrix obviously was living.
Lived, yes. Obviously, she loved the Lake District.
The guest mother also brought 2 books written and signed by Potter. Beatrix Potter also has a note written after the drawing. The drawing and books were autographed in the middle of a war in 1941. The Peter Rabbit drawing and books are rare treasures of Beatrix Potter. The drawing is valued at £25,000 and £1,000 each for the books.
No.
The owner brought in 2 powder horns, 2 of 8 handed down through the family. One powder horn belonged to Daniel Hayden of Marlborough, Massachusetts, dating back to 1758 during the French and Indian War. The second horn belonged to William Churchill from Plymouth, Massachusetts, serving during the American Revolution in 1779. The carvings on both horns showcased the craftsmanship of the time. While the carvers remained unidentified, craftsmen often prepare and personalize such items upon purchase. The appraiser estimated each horn's auction value to be between $8,000 to $12,000.
I've seen them pretty expensive before, but not that much.
The owner acquired the lamp while working as a caretaker for an elderly lady, who eventually passed away. Intrigued by the lamp, the owner was offered the chance to keep it. The lamp originated from one of the lumbermen's houses in North Wichita and was an original furnishing. The lamp's maker is Oscar Bach, a prominent German-born metalworker known for his work in bronze, wrought iron, and stainless steel.
I cleaned the lamp for 20 years, and I know every time I cleaned it, I noticed another detail on it, and it just drew my attention every time I saw the lamp.
The lamp, an Art Deco piece from the 1920s to 1930s, features stylized Art Deco figures and unique floral decoration. The glass globe, exhibiting gold iridescence, was crafted by the Steuben Glass Company, with this particular lamp valued between $3,000 and $5,000 at auction.
Really wonderful.
The owner brought an antique knife box with miniature sterling silver knives, forks, and spoons. The box is made of shark skin, known as shagreen. Initially thought to be English, it's identified as Dutch based on hallmarks. The numerous hallmarks, intentionally designed to resemble English marks, gives the box a deceptive appearance. The set is considered part of a high-quality miniature doll's house service, with a well-preserved interior featuring knives, forks, spoons, and miniature sauce ladles. The completeness of the set, considering its age, enhances its value. The rarity of finding such a complete and well-preserved set contributes to its appeal and value.
I would put a pre-sale estimate on it of about $2,500 to $3,500.
Okay.
This item is a Felix the Cat perfume bottle, which was originally a toy that belonged to the owner's grandmother and was passed down to her mother by her great-aunt. The owner discovered that the toy was actually a perfume bottle when they realized the head could be twisted off. Felix the Cat was a mischievous cartoon character from the 1920s, and this specific item was made by the German company Schuko in the 1930s. The toy is made of mohair with a painted wood face, an original bow, and is remarkably well preserved, showing no signs of moth damage. The perfume bottle, with its original stopper, is considered rare. In the absence of the perfume element, a similar toy would fetch around $350, but as a complete perfume bottle, it is estimated to be worth $1,000.
Little bundle worth a big price, too.
Absolutely.
Who would have thought that this $9.99 painting would one day be worth 2,000 times its original value?
Terrific. Do you have any idea what it might be worth other than $9.99?
The painting is signed as Ferren on the front, and on the back, title of the painting as Prophet, year of painting 1947, the artist name John Ferren, and its size are given.
The title,
Prophet,
and even the size of the painting, 19 by 26 inches.
Ferren's abstract art greatly impacted the mid-20th century artistic trends. He used bold colors to make his paintings lively and energetic.
He's American. He was born in Oregon in 1905. He ended up studying in San Francisco.
He studied in Italy and Paris as well. Fortunately, the owner brought the piece to the antique treasure hunt following her sister's suggestion.
Actually, my sister is the one that entered me in the Roadshow, and I just thought, oh my gosh, it was meant to be.
In a retail gallery, paintings can be sold for prices ranging from $15,000 to $20,000.
Really? $20,000? Wow, so that is a lot.
The guest discovered an envelope containing an artistic treasure in her late mother's clutter.
And we opened it up, and inside were some materials connected to Art Spiegelman.
It was a proposal featuring original paintings by Art Spiegelman for a book project.
These are original paintings for the book that you talked about, The Wit and the Wisdom, and he also, to the right, has an alternative cover called Quotation Alley.
Art Spiegelman is an American cartoonist, editor, and comics advocate. After gaining fame for Moss, Spiegelman didn't continue to write this project and probably donated these paintings to a local library.
We pictured my mother maybe getting at a library sale because she was a very big supporter of the local public library.
The use of colors is excellent. The proposal for this book of quotations is also original. The retail value is between
$8,000 to $12,000.
Really? That's very gratifying.
An intriguing story was shared by the guest, who presented a senior graduating yearbook. The yearbook featured one of his classmates, named Allen Ginsberg, who later became a notable American poet and writer. The yearbook contained Ginsberg's photograph, with a signature and inscription joking about democratic politics. The appraiser noted Ginsberg's role as a philosopher and genius of the class.
Professor, and he's the philosopher and genius of the class. Was that true at the time?
Yeah, he was.
It also included a poetic message by Ginsberg to the guest, raising the overall worth. What is the assessed value of the item?
I think this would retail for $10,000. Oh my
God. This massive bronze incense burner, weighing approximately 76 pounds, is a remarkable find for the guest. He acquired this masterpiece at auction for around $2,000. Despite its imposing weight, it boasts intricate details characteristic of Chinese craftsmanship. Adorned with dragons and mythical animals morphing into clouds at the top, it exudes boldness and sophistication. Although marked with Da Ming Zhuande Nianzhu, indicating a Ming dynasty origin from the early 15th century, expert analysis reveals it as a faithful reproduction from the Dongguan period circa 1820 to 1850. This era saw a revival of Ming-style artistry, albeit with slightly less refinement than the originals. The burner's elaborate design features wave motifs and mythical creatures, meticulously crafted on all sides, demonstrating exceptional attention to detail. Despite never being utilized, it commands attention as a decorative piece, proudly displayed in the front of the fireplace. Most importantly, it's valued at a whopping $30,000 in a retail setting.
$30,000?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very good.
The guest brought in a crazy quilt. It was made by her third great aunt named Susie, who hailed from one of the families in Huntsville, Alabama. The quilt was completed by the guest aunt in 1887 at the age of 27. She was an outstanding embroiderer and quilt maker.
She's put all the things in this quilt that crazy quilt collectors look for.
The quilt featured a peacock, a bird's nest, and all kinds of beautiful embroideries. The quilt, including ribbonwork borders and appliques, was an exceptional piece. The estimated value for the item ranged between $2,000 to $3,000.
That's nice.
Once bought by her grandmother, this hidden desk now holds a special place in the owner's heart.
When I was a little kid, and I just always admired it, and now it's mine, and I treasure it very much.
The owner believed it wasn't too expensive, but she found an envelope in it. The envelope contains a photo of the Chicago White Stockings from the year 1885. The Chicago White Stockings was the former name of this team, now playing in the National League under the name of the Chicago Cubs. 19th century baseball collectibles are among the rarest and most desirable items. This desk belonged to a great team with exceptional players. Cap Anson, King Kelly, and William Sunday were highly influential players on this team. This desk has been passed down from generation to generation.
And this was your grandfather's handwriting, I assume?
No, actually, it's my great-grandfather.
The estimated value is between $8,000 to $12,000.
Oh, my
At
God,
auction.
that was just...
I
just happened to bring it by
piece.
chance. I'm shocked. I'm really shocked.
The owner brought a French wrestler doll made in Germany between 1880 and 1910, with superb quality and unique features like unusual boots. Passed down through generations, it's known as the cowgirl in the owner's family. Despite being made in Germany, it was created for the French market. The doll's size is unusually large for its type, making it more desirable to collectors. The body resembles a wrestler, contributing to its unique charm.
If you look at it, it's sort of robust.
Yep.
The legs are very big,
Chubby.
and that's what makes it more desirable to collectors today.
Although it needs some restoration, like restringing, and has a few chips, its overall condition is excellent.
At auction, this would probably bring between $4,000 and $5,000.
Awesome. Cool.
These two objects are a mystery for the owner. These are two silver animals by Julius Rapaport.
Julius Rapaport was a silversmith. He had his own shop in St. Petersburg in Russia.
Julius was an expert in sculpting, especially animals with silver. The cat is larger, but surprisingly lighter than the bunny. The bunny's detailed craftsmanship adds to its higher value compared to the cat. Turning them reveals inconsistencies in the cat, while the bunny's hallmarks signal authenticity.
Which one do you think is right?
I'm thinking that the bunny is correct and the cat is not.
You're right.
Some of Julius's animals sold for more than $100,000. The bunny can easily get $5,000 to $7,000 at auction. The value of the cat is in the hundreds. The silver bunny rabbit can fetch up to $15,000.
Okay. All right. That is a big surprise. It truly is.
The guest purchased a puppet from an auction in New York City in 1987, acquired for $500. The item holds sentimental value as it reminds the guest of television puppet shows. This puppet is part of the Bill and Cora Baird collection. The appraiser emphasized Bill Baird's significance in puppeteering history.
Baird, as far as I'm concerned, was the greatest American puppeteer.
Underscoring his remarkable contributions.
Most of his puppets are in several museums, so there's not many out there on the market.
The puppet can do actions like wink and blink. With original clothing and impressive condition, this item is considered highly desirable. How much was this puppet valued?
At auction, I think it would bring $1,500, so really? You did all right. That's nice.
Our guest found a mysterious item, thinking it's a Chinese god. It's a Chinese glazed pottery roof tile. It was likely crafted during the Ming Dynasty, around 16 to 1700. These tiles are used on the roofs of fancier houses and temples. Most of these tiles are yellow, but it's unique.
This one is particularly dark with the green and the brown.
The owner has taken good care of this tile, and it still looks like it just came out of the store.
In an antique market at Aberfoyle, Ontario, 1966.
Its details are amazing, and it's well crafted. In an auction, its value can range from $5,000 to $8,000.
Oh, isn't that great?
So I think you made a very good buy, and I think you have a great thing.
Found in the trash, this silver trophy cup is now the guest champagne holder.
So I picked it up, and I have been using it as a champagne holder.
The sterile silver trophy was covered in dirt, but upon closer inspection, the owner discovered that it's made of silver. The trophy belongs to Isaac von Horn for investing in the railroad. Investors gifted him this trophy in 1907. It was made by Gorham Company, which was America's best silver manufacturer. We can see their mark in the bottom. To sell at a higher price, it requires cleaning. Estimated value can be between $15,000 to $25,000.
It's been a wonderful experience. I love this. I've been wanting to do this for a long time, so this is great.
The guest treasures a ceramic pottery piece from her parents and has a special attachment to it.
I love the inside of it. Have ever since I was a child.
This is created by Glenn Lukens, a pioneer in American ceramics. It was crafted during 1930 to 1940. Glenn Lukens was a teacher at USC, and he revolutionized ceramics pottery. Lukens used creative methods, like exposing raw clay in unique glaze. The way he designed the pot from the inside, he was ahead of his time.
Especially as a child, I love to reach in and feel the melted cheese.
Collectors highly appreciate raw materials like this. It has a signature on the bottom in typical fashion.
I can tell you that in today's market, I would appraise this for $5,000 at auction.
Really? Oh my gosh.
A man made this swan boat in 1930 to propose to the owner's grandmother. She didn't accept the proposal, but they remained friends forever. It has all the details, like pedals, flags, and seats.
The rudder turns like that, and the little tiller ropes go on there so the operator could steer without turning around.
Swan boats are common in Boston since 1877. It looks like a real swan boat of Boston. It can easily be sold for $1,500 to $2,000. This antique fireplace bellows, belonging to the owner's husband's family, possesses a rich history. It's known as a turtle-back fireplace bellows due to its turtle-like shape. They were common in New England around the 1830s. People used to pump embers in a fireplace with the help of these bellows. These type of bellows were crafted in both practical and ornamental forms. Despite its age, this piece is in excellent condition.
Leather, which traditionally dries out, is totally pliant.
Flipping it over veils even more detailed smoke decorations, applied to it using a lamp black. She was delighted to know the history of it. It can sell for $4,000 to $6,000 at auction.
My goodness.
This important letter is from women survivors of the 1912 Titanic shipwreck. Lady passengers thanked the captain, crew, and doctors from the ship Carpathia for their sacrifices and kindness in rescuing them. The crew helped them deal with grief after losing family members. This letter is a tribute to the resilience of survivors Margaret Brown, Mrs. William Blanchett, and Mrs. George W. Stone. Being associated with Titanic, this letter could be worth over $5,000. He received these wonderful baskets from his neighbor around 1950, celebrating his 13th birthday. These pieces represent the work of the Southern Paiute, who lived in Utah and Nevada. Made around the 1920s, the pieces are a marvelous work of the native tribes, and at the time it was normal to gift, with all the rage of the cowboys and Indians. Having a great historical value and presenting a very unique crafting, these baskets are quite valuable today, having appreciated over time. But how much are they worth?
At auction, would each sell for about $500 to $700.
Wow.
This particular one would carry a value of $1,000 to $1,200.
Right, that's way more than I thought they would be.
This guest brings this beautiful set of gentlemen's buttons to the show. The buttons, which belong to his great-great-great-grandmother, are believed to be over 250 years old, dating to the 1800s. The blue and white middle bit, which is ceramic, is believed to be made by a famous English potter, Josiah Wedgwood. These buttons were worn at the time by men as fancy accessories to show wealth and class.
Around the middle is like a border on them. There's a little bit of gold-colored metal, and then there's another edge to it, which we call mother of pearl.
The designs are not hand-carved, but factory-made.
The designs in the middle are not hand-carved. They're made in a technique that's called sprigging, and the white bit is cast in a little mold, and then it's stuck on to the blue bit.
The appraiser advises on the set.
Well, you shouldn't split them up. My advice is to keep them together, even if you've got a sister. Don't be tempted to let her have 3 and you have 3, because they are a set, and that makes them better.
The buttons are valued at.
So I think today a set of gentleman's buttons like that, if you put them in an auction, they could sell for as much as $2,000. I'm going to say $1,500 to $2,000, and if somebody really wanted them, they could bring more than that.
I would advise insuring this for $125,000.
You're kidding me.
She had the item in her home for 50 years, a gift from her husband's friend, given in the 19th century by none other than the famous artist, Noah Purifoy.
My husband worked very closely with Noah Purifoy, the artist. He lived in Watts, he worked in Watts, and he was so shaken by the riots that he put together an exhibition of his works.
A very kind man, and also very talented, his works acquired tremendous value. This one in particular was made during the riots in California, and its rustic style represents the range of the time.
My husband said he was such a kind man, very intense and very much concerned and fearful about what happened to his community.
A very special gift for the family, now brought to appraisal, worth $125,000 in insurance.
I would advise insuring this for $125,000.
You're kidding me.
This man brought in an electric guitar from Wyoming called the Jackson, bought in 1978 for $299. It's a 1955 Gretsch Duo Jet competition, or Gibson Les Paul hybrid. This guitar has a solid chambered body. The Gretsch guitar has a unique sound attributed to the additional craftsmanship by its maker and has a nitro finish at the top. This is a vintage guitar, and it sells for $5,000.
The classic example of the 50s
rock and roll guitar.
Yeah.
Guest brought in a Paul Revere silver spoon to the show. This is a family heirloom that has been passed down through many generations. The spoon is engraved with the mark of Paul Revere Jr., who was an American silversmith, engraver, and early industrialist. This tablespoon's auction cost ranges from $7,000 to $10,000.
Auction. Really? Yeah, absolutely.
These two gold and diamond watches were given to the guest by her great-aunt. These are made by Patek Philippe, established in Geneva in 1839. They produce the most beautiful and expensive luxury watches for kings, queens, and people of nobility.
Back then, women who furthered the brand for Patek were people like Queen Victoria.
And my Auntie Mabel.
The guest loves to wear the yellow gold watch, which has 18 carats. This watch was made between the years 1910 and 1915. It has a unique tonneau shape and large Roman numerals for easy visibility.
The diamond watch was made around 1935. This watch is platinum. It has about 2 carats of diamonds in it.
Most watch companies use single-cut diamonds, but Patek Philippe used higher-quality full-cut diamonds. The estimated value of these watches is around $8,000 to $12,000.
Yes, it's very nice.
The guest came with a New York grain-painted pine lot box. He purchased it from his collector friend from a local estate in Florida. The box itself is a pine box. The wood was too available and inexpensive for pine furniture to stand on its own. It is in just superb condition. You can see the graining across the front of it. At the bottom, you can see probably the maker of the box. It's possibly the owner's name, R. Cole, from Mayfield in Montgomery County, New York, and dated 1837. It was just a lockbox for someone to put their important personal possessions in, and to be able to lock it. It's fascinating that the guest has the original key from 1837. The box appraised for $1,200 to $1,800.
I paid $9. So I think I did okay.
I think you did, yeah.
This woman brought to the show a fascinating heirloom, a belly poke era diamond and a platinum necklace that has been passed down from generation to generation before being entrusted to her. This beautiful necklace was crafted with platinum, a highly favored metal in 1905. It also features a brooch setting, an important addition to the necklace, adorned with a mix of 6 carats of European and single-cut diamonds. The design mechanism of this jewelry is akin to that of 18th century Marie Antoinette's glamorous style, allowing it to be easily restructured for versatile wear in 2 ways. The jewelry still holds an insurance value ranging from $40,000 to $45,000.
Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
The guest brings this lovely Cahuilla Mission diamondback basket, which he bought from an auction house for about $400 to the show. This beautiful basket is believed to hail from Southern California, and it dates to around 1930. The basket is a mission basket, having the unique features of baskets of that type.
The basket, it's a mission. The tuck stitches on the outside of the basket is the giveaway from mission baskets. I mean, it's almost spirals all the way around the basket.
The diamondback rattlesnake design is quite common amongst Southern California pieces.
It's the orange juncus, and then the black juncus is the dyed juncus. Then you have a little bit of sumac.
This lovely basket is valued at about...
I would put an insurance value of $1,500.
Fantastic.
A piece worthy of its name. This beautiful bride's basket belonged to the guest's great-grandmother. This piece represents an interpretation of another artist's work. This basket is made by Longwy, a French factory specializing in making pottery and porcelain. The term cloisonné is French, denoting Chinese or Asian enamel.
It actually means fencing. So in real cloisonné, what you would do is you would take a metal body and put a series of metal fences around it and fill it with enamel.
Longwy had a unique method of fencing.
Rather than use the little metal wire work, what they did was use little black ink borders, and that's what holds the enamel in place.
This piece is a French interpretation of cloisonné.
The factory didn't put that on there. That was probably just some helpful uncle to say, oh, this is cloisonné here. And this is pottery, not porcelain. That's why you get all of this crackle glazing here.
Okay.
This lovely bride's basket dates to the 1880s.
It's a bride's basket, so you've got a nice rope twist top and a beautiful shaped body like this. This shows an incredible amount of effort for something that is a very simple gift from this time period.
The appraiser values it at,
I would say, at auction, you would be looking at a price of around $1,000 to $1,500. It's really a beautiful piece of pottery.
Wow.
Thanks for bringing it down.
Thank you.
These lovely art pieces were given to the guest by her sister-in-law. These set of prints were done by the artist Charles W. White. White was an American artist known for his narration of African-American related subjects in painting, drawing, lithographs, and murals. His best work is the Contribution of the Negro to American Democracy, a mural at the Hampton University. These paintings are reproduction prints.
Offset lithographs of his drawings. And they were printed in the early 1960s with his gallery, Heritage Gallery and ACA Gallery, New York.
They were done to make his work more available.
And you have two sets here. We have the set of 6 and the set of 10. Each image is a drawing he did from the time, from like the late 1950s to the early 60s.
Quite a number of these pieces were done.
So we actually don't know how many of these are printed in each edition. The numbers were quite large. I imagine hundreds were printed. The original drawings would be very large. They were like 4 feet high, 5 feet wide.
Oh.
Although not as valuable as the original work, they are still highly sought-after pieces. The appraiser values them at
auction today, the set of 6, I would estimate at $1,000 to $1,500, and the set of 10 would reach $2,000 to $3,000 at auction.
Awesome, awesome.
Yeah.
It's good to know.
The guest brought a glance of Windermere Lake painting to the show. She inherited it from her parents. The painting was done by David Johnson. On it was a monogram at the lower right of the frame. The painting is notable for its striking use of light and shadow. The painting conveys a sense of the sublime and the wonder of nature. The fascinating features about the painting are the style and glittering frame. The painting is currently in the collection of the National Museum Wales. The appraiser valued it at auction to be $40,000 and at retail to be $80,000.
Oh my goodness. My goodness.
Guest brought a Frank Lloyd Wright chair to the show. He purchased it at the rate of $150. Frank Lloyd Wright was a famous American architect and designer. In 1905, he designed a simple and elegant chair known as the Wright chair. The chair was made of oak. It was unique because of its geometric shapes and angles. It was also functional and ergonomic, ahead of its time. The chair became a symbol of Wright's design philosophy, organic architecture. The chair is still popular today and has been reproduced many times. The appraiser valued it to range between $5,000 to $8,000. The guest came with Carter Hoffman College mascot carvings. These are carvings representing the Pacific Coast Conference mascots. She got these from her husband. He played for Oregon State. The Beaver mascot was awarded at a football banquet. Carter Hoffman was a Los Angeles-based craftsman famous for his carvings of mascots from collegiate football teams. So here are 8 nice examples from the Pacific Coast Conference. These are in pretty good shape. The color is beautiful. They're in immaculate condition. Carter Hoffman College mascot carvings were appraised between $300 and $500, so $2,400 or $4,000 total.
Okay.
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 But
well,
again,
that's great, but they're priceless to us and our family.
The guest inherited this piece from her grandmother. The piece is an oil in grisaille on-board painting made by the artist William Herbert Dunton. He was a well-known painter-illustrator from the Taos Artist Colony. He studied with Ernest Blumenschein at the Art Student League in New York. The oil in grisaille painting tells the story of the kind of artist Dunton was.
Dunton was really interested in the notion of the vanishing cowboy. So this is sort of the where are all of the cowboys gone. A really
terrific example of a West that was passing and changing and going to be very different from what he was to know.
The piece, which is probably an illustration piece for a magazine, is valued at...
And given that, I would give it an estimate of between $5,000 and $7,000.
In 2014, the value rose from $15,000 to $25,000.
So that's where all cowboys go.
That's great. Thank you.
The guest came with George Lavroff Art Deco bronze. She bought this bronze panther in Paris in 1967. She paid $20, or whatever the equivalent in... The artist is George Lavroff, and he was born in Russia in 1895. In 1927, he moved to Paris, where he created Art Deco bronze sculptures of animals. This is a classic piece by Lavroff. Very Art Deco, very nicely formed. The sculpture appraised for $5,000 to $7,000. The guest came with an autographed Arthur Bishop Jeffreys Vikings of the Air painting. He got this painting from his father. His father was an aviation buff, and he got this painting as collateral from a Lady Neville. The signatures of famous pilots were on it when he got it. The painting was done by Arthur Bishop Jeffreys. We have this incredible scene called Vikings of the Air, an aviation scene. But what makes this oil on canvas so incredibly special, besides its theme, is the signatures. 10 or 12 signatures here. It's just incredible. This is an extraordinary special painting, not just because of the subject matter, but because of the signatures as well. The painting appraised for $10,000 to $15,000.
My dad thought very highly of it.
A piece of jewelry that oozes wealth and fine taste. This beautiful piece of jewelry has been in the Guest family for 3 generations. She inherited it from her grandmother. The diamond horseshoe brooch dates to the end of the 19th century. It's made up of about 15 karat old European cut diamonds and platinum topped 14 karat yellow gold.
They are about as juicy and lively and beautiful as they can be.
Usually, horseshoe brooches of smaller sizes are common, but this one is quite large.
This is a whole lot of good luck. It's about the biggest horseshoe brooch I've ever seen, and it's probably the prettiest one I've ever seen as well.
The appraiser gives an auction estimate.
I think an auction estimate of $10,000 to $15,000. Good.
The guest came with Thomas Pitt's silver Epernay. She got it as a gift from her grandmother. She went to Charleston, South Carolina for a visit, and they ended up buying this. The original purpose of an Epernay was to be the centerpiece of a dessert service called Service à la Francais. In Service à la Francais, the people sat around the dinner table and served themselves sugar-candied fruit. It has a mark for the lion passant, the mark of the leopard's head crowned, and the date letter to the year 1765. All of the decoration is fruits, which indicates the purpose that it was intended was to serve fruit as a centerpiece. Thomas Pitt's silver epernage appraised for $15,000 to $25,000.
Oh, I guess that's a surprise.
A precious birthday gift. The negligee gemstone pendant was given to the guest on her birthday. It belonged to her daughter's great-grandmother. The beautifully designed pendant is made up of some lovely stones.
This is a precious topaz. Okay. And we also have a peridot. Okay. And it's suspending from 2 small red spinels.
The red spinels are rare, and the whole piece is held at the center by a heart-shaped cabochon sapphire. This pendant was popular around 1890 to 1910. It's usually made of colorful stones and meant to be worn close to the neck.
It's a fitted box, and you can actually see the fitted area. It's in the original box, which adds to its value and adds to its cachet.
It's valued to be about,
I would say, for insurance purposes, $10,000, right around $10,000. Wow. Yeah.
As of 2023, the value increased to $12,000.
Wow.
For it. I had no idea.
Yeah.
Really, that's amazing.
This lovely pocket watch was found by the guest husband in their newly acquired house. The beautiful pocket watch was made by the company Vacheron Constantin, a high-end watch manufacturing company in existence since 1775. The watch dates back to 1880 to 1890.
On the movement, which is quite beautiful, is Vacheron Constantin as well. Exceptional watch, so pretty, all 18-karat gold, triple sign with all the hallmarks.
The appraiser values it at.
So in a retail store, this watch would sell for approximately $3,000.
Oh, wow.
So that's a good find.
That's a very good find.
A piece that brings fond childhood memories. The guest brings the lovely Tootsie Toy cars to the show. Cars, which were made in the early 1930s, come in the deluxe motor set. The cars are modeled after the Grand Car.
And then you've got a wonderful coupe here with a rear spare. And then you've got a coupe here with two side mounts instead of a spare. And then you've got a wonderful yellow wrecker. And it's just a great set.
This lovely car set is valued at.
I would say the value would be $2,000 to $3,000.
That's very good.
Yes.
In 2015, the value dropped to $1,000 to $1,500. A painting that brings fond memories to the guest. It was purchased in 1975 for $150 by the guest, as it shared some similarities to her hometown in Louisiana. The watercolor painting was made by the artist, Lloyd Hawthorne, who was from Pineville, Louisiana.
This picture is a lovely example with the Louisiana landscape and these figures. It's in great condition.
The piece is valued at.
I think if this were to be offered in a retail gallery, the asking price might be about $2,500.
Whoa, really? Really? I made some money.
A guest presented a Dedham test glazed vase, acquired by her mother from her aunt, who was supposedly the granddaughter of the founder of Robinson Dedham Pottery. The appraiser stated that Hugh Robertson founded Dedham Pottery, and the guest agreed. The value for this piece ranged between $1,000 to $1,500.
Oh, fantastic. That's wonderful. My mom and dad will be thrilled.
The guest's great-grandfather commissioned the artist Thomas Willis to make this work of art for her great-grandmother. Thomas Willis was born in Connecticut in 1850, but came to New York and became a successful silk merchant. The painting is a smokestack with a tuft of silk smoke wisping out of the smokestack in ships. The painting is accurate and well detailed. The ship has two names featured on it, Edward J. Birdwin and Sandy Hook. They were members of New York Yacht Club. The painting is definitely of New York Harbor in 1910. It is, by all accounts, the best surviving work by this artist, maybe even the masterpiece. The painting is valued at $10,000 to a whopping $15,000. These boots, once owned by Joe Strummer, were acquired by the guest husband during an interview on the band's first U.S. tour in 1979. Joe Strummer, lead singer of The Clash, a pioneering British punk band, emerged amidst political turmoil in England. Strummer's unexpected death at 50 added value to his legacy. The boots bear a stamp indicating British work, adding authenticity. There is a photo of the husband interviewing Strummer with the boots. The boots could fetch $5,000 to $7,000, with potential for higher value, if matched to photos from the 1979 tour, possibly reaching $8,000 to $12,000.
That's pretty amazing.
These letters and cards are from the Kennedy brothers to the owner's grandmother.
My grandmother was the personal secretary to both Bobby Kennedy and Jack Kennedy. I do believe it was in the early 50s.
John F. Kennedy, known as Jack, was the 35th President of the United States. His brother Robert Francis Kennedy, known as Bobby Kennedy, was his Attorney General. Letters show that the owner's grandmother was a close friend to the Kennedy family. Jack Kennedy valued her insights as America's anti-colonial policy and Catholic vote.
I appreciate very much your letter, as we are old friends, and that your letter was the result of this friendship.
This funeral card from Bobby to the owner's grandmother also shows their friendship. Some of these letters, which are handwritten, are even more worthy than typewritten letters. In an auction, the whole archive value is between $15,000 to $20,000.
Well, it's exciting to hear and to know.
The guest's youngest son received these Peter Max artworks from their mother around 1969 or 1970. Peter Max, a renowned psychedelic artist, gained immense popularity during the late 60s for his vibrant, trippy designs. The artworks, dated 1969 and numbered, reflect Max's signature psychedelic style, with the missing piece noted to have been sticker-covered by the son. Despite the stickers, the artworks hold considerable value in today's market. The values range from $300 to $400 for one, $400 to $600 for another, and the most valuable estimated at $800 to $1,200.
Very nice.
The guest brought a Black Forest carved shoe from Inkwell. Her father brought it back from World War II when he was stationed in France. The shoe is in good shape, and the details are accurate. Stitches from the shoe show it is of walnuts in full of it. It was carved from the Black Forest region of Europe. It is an inkwell and was most likely made from a pewter. At auction, the shoe is estimated at the $700 to $800 range.
Because it's in such great condition and a lot of people collect inkwells.